My story? My story is actually a pretty common story. It's not at all common in the living of the story. It's actually very dramatic, a lot of very dramatic twists and turns in the story. But it's a common theme that human beings have been struggling with for most of our history on this planet. It's a story of personal courage and freedom. It's a story of overcoming seemingly hopeless odds. In the face of tremendous adversity, there is great opportunity, and that's what I learned. I learned that in federal prison. I learned that in solitary confinement. Some of those, as I call them, foolish choices that I made back in the early 1980s got me involved with some pretty sinister forces. I had myself mired in a situation that there really wasn't any way out. A huge smuggling operation and the forces of law and order on the other side, and I was in the middle of it. Having had no criminal record and even being somewhat of a combat hero, I emerged as the most likely key witness against everybody. But the way that they were handling it, I wouldn't have survived it. It was virtually a death sentence. It literally forced me into hiding. I had to go underground. And that just made it worse, because even though that might have enabled me to get through it alive, that just sealed my fate. When I finally was apprehended and brought to trial, I was brought up on charges for everything the entire organization had ever done. I'd only been involved with them for a short time, but now I was facing the very real prospect of at a minimum of 25 years in prison without chance of parole. And my struggle to get through it amounted to my doing everything I could to help other inmates with reading and writing and GED studies and so forth. And it was successful in the sense that I gained a lot of support. Letters were written by even correctional officials, and a few noteworthy politicians got involved, and they wrote letters. The prosecutor in the case, the one person who could really make a difference, he had enough evidence that he could have put me away for that whole 25 years, and he was set on doing so. He was intrigued enough with all the letters and all the things that he'd heard about that he literally stepped in, and in an unprecedented, unheard of circumstance, he had me brought out of the detention center, and we sat for 2 hours in his office and talked about the case. The next court appearance, which was the final pretrial hearing, he stood up in front of the judge and said that the people wished to amend their position in the case and drop 2 of the most serious charges, and in the process reduced what would likely have been a 25-year prison sentence to what turned out to be a little over 2 years.
I'm Dave McGee. If you want some measure of the uniqueness of the events we are embarked on here today, you might begin with the fact that this testimonial is being done by the prosecutor who once sent Don to prison. In 21 years as a prosecutor, I sent many men to prison. Until today, I have never done a testimonial for one of them. But then this story is unique. Our literature and our movies are filled with stories of redemption. There's something about them that stir us, but in real life, those stories are rare. Don's story is that rare exception. Someone who by force of character has come from the depths to the heights, from someone we lock away in prison to someone we call to the podium. It is rare, it is real, and it is admirable, even to a cynical old prosecutor like myself. Don, you've done something unique in life. You've managed to turn your adversaries into your admirers. For that you are to be congratulated. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Not only is the book compelling and entertaining because of the drama and the action, the high-action drama and the tension and suspense and so forth, but it's a story about hope, whether you're behind bars or you're on the other side of the walls and trapped in your own personal circumstances. We all have certain challenges that beset us that we can choose to move out of by finding something to be grateful for. That's the crux of the story, and it's highly entertaining and it's very inspiring.